Thanks for joining us on National Focus. I'm Colette Ambo. Coming up, a Prime Minister and Minister for Finance to present an over $480 million budget to Parliament on Wednesday. The Grand Savannah water supply project is expected to be completed by September, and GIS News talks with the facilitators of the CCRE validation workshop. Stay tuned for these and other stories after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Thanks for staying with us. Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Foreign Affairs and Information Technology, Roosevelt Skerrit, will present an over $480 million budget to Parliament on Wednesday. The Finance Minister will present the 2014-2015 budget during the first meeting of the 5th session of the 8th Parliament at the House of Assembly in Roseau. President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savannah, will inspect a guard of honor, including contingents of officers of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, Fire and Ambulance Services, and Prison Services. His Excellency President Savannah will also address Parliament. The Prime Minister's budget presentation will be carried live on GIS Channel 7 on Mapping 2K4 and the SAT Telecommunications Limited Channel 2. Be sure to tune in to GIS between 6 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday for a post-budget discussion live from GIS studios. Wednesday's meeting of Parliament will begin at 10 a.m. and according to Honorable Prime Minister Skerrit, new measures will be introduced during the budget, which Dominicans will welcome.
In our consultation with the Dominican public and various stakeholders, there are some measures which we will present to the Parliament when we meet next week, which I'm sure the population will receive with a great welcome.
In response to questions regarding less VAT in the hotel sector, the Prime Minister had this to say.
One of the things I've always stated is that the VAT replaced a number of taxes in the country. And while we want to be responsive to the requests of various stakeholders, the government must take every request and consider the whole before we take a decision. You cannot take a decision without looking at the whole impact on the entire country. There may be one or two of the requests the DHTA have asked for, which we can consider in the upcoming budget. Of course, we will continue to review the legislation. But I consider I can say now that one or two of the requests the DHTA will be taken on board, and that will be made reference. Reference will be made to that in the budget address delivered by myself as Minister of Finance.
The Prime Minister told reporters recently that while measures that are expedient may seem like the best answer, significant consideration is needed to preserve the country's resources.
There are a lot of nuances and issues that one has to consider before a final determination is made by the Cabinet as to whether we take that measure or this measure, or we don't take any measure at all. Because you don't want to go and take a decision which might sound politically expedient, but which does not augur well for the health of the finances of the country. So people who come and say, well, we'll reduce VAT, or we will remove VAT completely, or we will abolish income tax. All of this may sound exciting and great, but the question is, what do you replace them with?
The Dominica leader reiterated that government will maintain a prudent and responsible approach in managing the country's resources.
There are a number of implications if bad decisions are taken, or if decisions are taken for pure partisan political benefit of the party in office. And this has not been what we have done. We have always maintained a prudent and responsible approach to the management of the state finances. Notwithstanding the fact that it will be an election year, we will present a budget which the country can afford, not a budget to win any election, to win any votes.
The Honorable Prime Minister noted that government has tried to minimize the impact of the economic crisis on the tax-paying public.
Always a case, a justification for either increasing taxation, existing taxation, or introducing new tax measures. But what we have done over the years is to try to minimize the impact on the tax-paying public in respect to a number of capital projects. And when you look at the West Coast Road and a number of projects that have been financed by way of grants, if you had to contract loans to implement this project, it would mean that your debt servicing would increase, and then therefore you would need to find additional funds to service those debts. Where do you find additional funds? From taxpayers and so forth. And if the taxpayers are saying to you that they're not in a position to pay more, can you really tax them more? And this is the point I've also made in respect to salary increases. There's nothing wrong with unions making a request for salary increases, but the question is, are we the Dominican people prepared to pay more to underwrite the increase in salaries at this time?
The island's Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Iscariot, has indicated Dominica's interest in hosting the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. The center will coordinate regional energy efficiency efforts and will complete a global network of green energy centers.
I understand and respect the process that will go into the selection of the host country for the secret. However, having highlighted Dominica's RE efforts and taken into consideration that Dominica has the highest percentage of RE in its energy mix among the Caribbean countries, I want to take this opportunity to suggest to you that Dominica would be the ideal location for the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency.
A team of visiting delegates went on a tour of the geothermal plant last weekend, which Ambassador Vince Henderson says may have spoken volumes about Dominica's readiness to house the center.
They wanted to validate that in fact Dominica is doing what it said it's doing, and we expressed already our intentions to be the host country of the Caribbean Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Center, and for some they felt that they would like to see and confirm for themselves that we in fact have the hydro that has been operating, as I told them, for more than 2 decades, that we have gone that far in geothermal development. So for us it was an exciting moment.
Centers for renewable energy and energy efficiency have been established for small island developing states in West, South and East Africa and the Arab region. The 2-day validation workshop for the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Efficiency has ended, and organizers agree that much has been accomplished. Representatives of regional governments, organizations, and the private sector met to discuss the necessity of the center at the State House, led by SIDSDOC and the UNIDO. Among the several topics discussed was the issue of the center's sustainability.
How will the center be maintained, especially financially and otherwise? So, that is always the biggest issue with regards to any kind of center that you would set up or any institution. How do you maintain and manage the inflow of funding into the center? And this is something that we are still addressing, but we have been making some headway into. I think it is also very timely. It is sustainable because of the fact that the benefits that would accrue to the region from such a center would allow or justify the kind of financial support that it would be required to keep it running and keep it afloat, because the kind of monies that have been spent by the region and energy imports and the kind of monies that we are losing from potential energy savings would be far more than this amount of money that is required to sustain and maintain the center. So it is much easier for us to spend less to manage and maintain the center than it would for us to continue bleeding for energy services as we now are.
Dr. Pradip Monga, Director for the Energy and Climate Branch of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, told GIS News that his organization welcomed the request from SIDS-DOC for the center. He referenced the clear advantages of the established centers in West Africa or ECOWAS.
This center, for example, in ECOWAS region has not only brought in number of regional policy coordination role, but also bringing the investment plans, bringing the various partners. These centers, the most important job they do is to bring various stakeholders together and to have that larger picture in mind, and then helping the various players to really promote these technologies very quickly. The main focus is on knowledge management and capacity building and scaling up investments in this region, helping other partners already working to coordinate their work to bring down the cost of what we call economies of scale and bringing down the transactional cost of doing business in these technologies.
Dr. Monga says these and other advantages are envisioned for the Caribbean region.
In fact, we would like to go a step further. Caribbean region is very rich in human resource, a very high level of human skills. There is a lot of need. Caribbean region is also, I feel, one of the most affected by fossil fuel prices. Here, electricity prices are among the highest in the world, 42 to 45 cents per kilowatt hour. And there we feel that renewable energy technology makes sense. And similarly, energy efficiency is a very important puzzle part of this whole solutions, because there are two sides of same coin, renewable and energy efficiency. Energy saved is energy produced across buildings, across industries, across transport sector. So we believe together renewable and energy efficiency we can really help these countries not only to move towards energy security but also in economic development, because energy pricing is the main constraint to really have higher economic growth in this region.
SIDS-DOC coordinator Dr. Albert Binger says the invited participants were selected for a variety of perspectives in the discussion.
So each has a perspective. The national representatives who really will be the ones who make the decisions because they are the government people, but we need the support of the partners and the private sector. And as well, we will have to work with the regional organizations. So we need to have all parties present so everybody can hear everybody's perspective and be influenced or disagree or agree. So there's a free flow of exchange and common understanding emerge.
His Excellency Dr. Vince Henderson is chairman of the SIDS-DOC Steering Committee and Dominica's permanent representative to the United Nations.
This, for me, is a major initiative. And for SIDS-DOC, it is part of our strategic plan to move out to our membership, especially through the regions, and to bring the activities closer to the members. The Regional Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Center could help to create within the Caribbean the capacity that we need to transform the energy sector to move away from the old fossil fuel into clean, renewable energy that will reduce the cost of electricity for our people.
Look out for more on this story in a subsequent newscast. In other news, cricket coaches in Dominica are now better equipped to deal with laws pertaining to child abuse in sports, thanks to the efforts of the West Indian Cricket Board, UNICEF, and the government of Dominica. At a workshop dubbed Fair Play Initiative, Child Protection in Cricket, held on Monday, July 21st, coordinator of the Child Abuse Prevention Unit, Gemma Azil Luis, noted that all children have the right to be protected.
Under the Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 38 and 19, all children have a right to be protected, and all adults, duty bearers, have a responsibility to protect them.
Honorable Minister for Social Services, Gloria Shillingford, revealed that a prime focus of her ministry is prevention and so is pleased that this training for the coaches furthers this cause.
As Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, we place a lot of emphasis on child abuse prevention, sensitization, and public awareness, all geared at reducing the number of cases of child abuse. We all know that An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Sports Coordinator Trevor Shillingford, who was representing the Minister for Sports and Culture, revealed the importance of the role of a coach.
The responsibility placed on coaches is enormous, as they are given the trust of parents and society at large. Their actions, therefore, can make or break the child. However, society's expectation is that as coaches, you make the child. Hence, the reason for you to be equipped for this challenge.
Kushial J. Singh, Senior Project Officer in Schools Cricket from the West Indies Cricket Board, gave his hopes for the workshop.
What we hope that it will enlighten our coaches on the matter of child protection and make them, just let them have a more robust understanding about the topics with regards to neglect, sexual abuse, the other types of abuse basically. So we want them to leave here thinking about that today and just understanding their role not only as coaches but as caregivers, as role models, as advisors. The role of a coach today has changed very much. So when they leave here today, we want to have a well-rounded coach in cricket.
The workshop was held at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium conference room. In more news, construction work on the Grand Savannah water supply project is expected to be completed by September this year. That's according to the General Manager of the Dominica Water and Sewage Company, DOWASCO, Bernard Etinoff. Etinoff made the comments while speaking to reporters on the project site last week.
For several years now, the people of Grand Savannah in Salisbury have been complaining. They've mounted delegations to the ministry, of course, seeking to get potable water to their community. What they have been doing is accessing water through the farmers' water, which is a water system set up by the farmers in the Grand Savannah area, which is untreated water for irrigation purposes, and they have had to use that for some time, or truck water at exorbitant prices to do their domestic chores. So we finally came to the rescue of these people. The government has provided some $2.5 million to execute this project. The project involves, as you can see behind us here, a storage tank of 60,000 gallons capacity, just about 26,000 feet of various sizes of pipelines for both distribution and supply to the communities. And the road that we just drove upon, you can see freshly cut some 100 feet of road in difficult terrain to get this tank built so that the people can be served.
The $2.5 million project, funded by the government of Dominica, forms part of the West Coast Water Supply Project.
Lot 2 was the first to have been completed at a cost of just over 10 million EC dollars, provided by the European Union through the government of Dominica. Lot 1 is nearing completion and should be completed sometime between the end of August and the end of September. And that is the construction of 2 intakes, 2 treatment plants, and the main supply line to join with the main distribution line, which comprised lot 2. And so this tank will be fed from the Coolibistry intake. It can also be fed from the Picard intake independently. And so this will see the completion, or this is part of the completion of the West Coast Water Project.
Parliamentary representative for the Salisbury constituency, Honorable Hector John, is looking forward to the completion of the water project.
I know this water project in the area will assist a lot of people in doing their daily chores. And I am sure we will see further development of the area because a lot of people will be building as well. People who stayed away because of the water problem that they had. That water will help bring some relief to them. And as a community, Grand Savannah as a community, we welcome that project.
The government of Dominica has invested approximately $182 million to provide portable water to communities across the island over the past 14 years. And before we leave, here are a few announcements. The National Cultural Council and the Cultural Division invite the general public to the Golden Drum Award ceremony and concert on Wednesday, July 30th at the Arawak House of Culture from 8 p.m. Come give support to this year's Golden Drum and Special Recognition awardees. There will be performances by awardees and other local artists, including the Sixth Form Cicero Singers, Pan in Harmony, and Michael Henderson Del Sol. It's the Golden Drum Awards 2014. You definitely want to be there. Viewers are also invited to tune in to GIS on Mappin Channel 7 and SAT Channel 2 for our post-budget discussion. This will be carried live tomorrow evening, Wednesday, July 23rd from 6 p.m. And that's the English news. Macpherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le ministre énergie conduit un audit pour déterminer la quantité d'argent qui a dépensé à ces énergies pour l'occasion publique en Dominique. Parole celle-là sortie du ministre énergie, Honorable Ribbon Blackmore.
Nous avons fait ça comme un energy audit à ces building public en Dominique, Dominica State College, DASPA, ministry là pareil ça. So à cette collège là nous fait certains nous mettons ça comme solar panel. So ce monde ça nous paye moins pour énergie. Ça veut moins énergie mais taper même résultat là aussi. So on pile là nous can mettre aussi à bagarre renewable à Dominique et ben nous espoir nous que premier pays là en câble pour libérer ça qui 100% energy renewable compliant. Comme ça comme on peut parler avec donc hydro nous can servir pile hydro. Mais nous avons plus ça qui est fossil fuel. Ça a fait bien difficile pour nous à Dominique. Et ça fait pour l'énergie ça qui go pour nous Dominique. Il y a plus de monde passe à payer afforder pour payer light bill. Et bien nous passons à taper business pour venir investir à Dominique pour créer employment pour nous à Dominique. So, Dieu fait mal bagay ça c'est bien pour nous.
Honorable Blackmore fait parole comment officier qui venu ici garder programme énergie payant.
Encore nous garder la Dominique a fait toute bagay possible pour mener mon Dominique pour ça ouais ça nous a fait. Et bien nous confiance Centre Excellence si nous taper ça Dominique et que bon pour nous donc ici Nick ça qui est programme à State College là. So, students know que ça fait programme qui a fait sens en renewable energy football. So, ça va être bien important. C'est un programme qui est bien important pour nous et le workshop ça bien bon pour nous Dominique.
On a nouvelle plusieurs teachers, peer counselors en parmi d'autres monde qui travaillent et puis négion à dans une meilleure position à présent pour changer la paix entre négion en institution éducation. Un workshop 10 semaines venu au bout de vendredi qui passé en Dominica Grammar School en Roseau. Ministère de l'Éducation Honorable Peter Saint-Jean fait parole bénéfice workshop là qui a assisté négion manière pour agir et puis yon l'autre.
Workshop ça là pour 2 semaines là des dernières semaines là qui passé qui a adressé problème jeunes gens spécialement en l'école et aussi en société là. À ça nous devons faire nous devons éduquer traîner ces teachers là pour yo à dans meilleure position pour deal avec ces problèmes ça là qui jeunes gens kaba et travailler et puis yo pour yo ranger adresser ces problèmes ça yo et aussi on l'autre facette traitement ça là c'est teachers là qui nous traînent yo qui aller à l'école yo et yo qui essayer passer traitement ça là dans les autres teachers en l'école yo nous qui nous qui jeunes gens nous yo que en meilleure manière, en meilleure position pour deal avec yon et l'autre en société.
Ministre Saint-Jean a complimenté l'organisation qui a assisté à l'événement là.
Nous voulons complimenter USAID et aussi OECS Secretariat pour travail et puis nous en ministre éducation et ministre community développement puisque c'est eux qui ban nous qui ont aidé nous l'argent là pour faciliter traitement ça là.
On a nouvelle Ball West Indies collaboré et puis UNICEF et gouvernement Dominique où là ils ont lancé un workshop pour coach jouer ball ça créé the Fair Play Initiative Child Protection and Cricket. Ils ont tenu une cérémonie en Stadium Windsor Park lundi pour te lancer workshop là. Coordinateur pour les enfants qui habitent, James Azel Lewis, fait parole bienvenue pour l'initiative là. Selon Madame Azel Lewis, complet attention comité assist sport pour jeunesse en West Indies Cricket Board, organisation là voit importance pour implémenter le programme là. Minister Development Community Honorable Gloria Chillingford fait parole plaisir collaboration cela pour baisser abysement négio en sport. Coordinateur sport Trevor Chillingford fait parole comment il est bien nécessaire coach taper trainement manière pour empêcher les enfants abuser en jouer sport. Finalement, le département gender tapé assistance pour augmenter police gender. Parole ça sur le chef département ça Rosie Brown. Brown mentionne bagay qui recevait attention.
Yon ka di kot débat leadership women, c'est pas women, no, but gender leadership and decision making and governance, sorry. Yon ka di kot economic growth, poverty reduction, lot la ka pali kot agriculture and food security, yon lot area ka di kot climate change and natural resource management. Lot la ka pali kont labor and employment. On lot si education, human resource development. On lot si health and well-being. On lot si violence and security. Lot la si family, socialization and culture.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est Macpherson Saint-Los. Au revoir.
Coming up next, tips to ensure your system files are always secure.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
You asked for it. See more evidence of development right here on the Government Information.
Your hard drive might crash. Thieves might steal your laptop at a cafe. At times like these, having a secure, up-to-date backup of your hard drive can be a lifesaver. Here are a few tips to help you do just that. Back up your documents, application data, media, your entire system, and of course, your heirlooms such as photos, which require not only backup, but special protection. Invest in a USB drive. This fully automated backup is simple and does not require any software downloads. As a backup continuously connected to your computer is just as vulnerable to the same dangers threatening the computer itself, automate your backup and store it at a safe distance. Why not set up a single centralized backup for everyone at home? Back up the whole family on your home network. And if you have a large quantity of multimedia files, back them up to an external hard drive or to a network-attached storage drive. This way, large media files don't cause problems. Remember, it's not a matter of if you lose your files one way or another, it's a matter of when. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica.